Alright, so since I have a computer that the keyboard, actually, it didn't happen when I owned it, but I got this second hand and they didn't want it anymore because it just wasn't working. And the quick fix I find for not working computers is to install Linux on it, and then they work great. So it came with Windows 7 on it, and I guess they were having nothing but problems with it with all the stuff that they put on it. Got rid of it, ended up in my hands, and I fixed the keyboard for a friend, and I guess they got a new one with working keyboard. The computers I use tend to have this. So they're second-hand computers with non-working keyboards because of drink being spilled on it from kids. All I ended up doing, because it was executing a function key on boot and causing it not to boot up properly, I just popped the keyboard out and disconnected it, and then it works fine. But the problem is you need a keyboard to use the computer. So enter the mini keyboards and the various ones I've tried out. I had a USB plug keyboard which fit like that big on top of the computer, sometimes causing it to overheat because it was sitting on top of it. So I tried this one. This is doesn't even say the brand name on it. I got it in this box from the store in Kingston. I think it's called the Electronics Candy Store, where they specialize in electronics, Raspberry Pis, things like that. So this is one of the things that they sell with Raspberry Pi computers and stuff, and Android boxes or whatever. So I just decided to try it. Here's the remote here. Here's how it fits in my hand. It looks like a smaller version of a game controller. Has a QWERTY keyboard. Let's get in the camera shot here. It has a touchpad. So in the back, it has a nice compartment for the battery and the USB dongle, wireless dongle thing. So I'm going to take that, set it here, and I'm going to put this back together with the battery there. The battery life of this is pretty good. It can last for weeks before I need to charge it. So you just put it there into the computer and you turn it on and you start using the touch. Hit it. Sometimes you will have to hit a key for it to sync. As you can see it there, it's syncing. And my laptop, I closed the screen so it went in standby. So here I am watching YouTube, what I normally watch, and it's an episode of the Oddity Archive, to give him a shout out. So I'm just going to close that down. And as you can see, I got Linux Mint running, and it works great under Linux Mint, and I can just sort of hold it in my hand, and I have a keyboard because this one doesn't work. The touchpad still works on this computer. And for Linux Mint Cinnamon, if you don't have it, there is a keyboard that, zoom in on that, that is for touchscreen computers will work, or just for your mouse. That is a nice little backup feature that they have in Linux Mint. But it'll take you probably 2 hours to write a 10-minute email doing it that way. So this is a nice solution. Works with Android boxes, works with a Raspberry Pi and other devices. It has a page up and down for when you're scrolling. So if you're on Facebook and you want to scroll, you just keep scrolling, because that's what you do on Facebook. You scroll through the ads, scroll through the people's opinions and stuff. And it's a decent remote for Facebook and whatever. But I'm gonna have to say the one I actually use more would be this Magica, and I'll do this one in another review. This is probably the one I use the most. It has a QWERTY in the back keyboard. It's an Air mouse, and I'll do a review on that in another video. But this, as you see, if you can see the mouse moving on the screen there, it will work. It works pretty good. I mean, if you have this for a big screen TV and you just want a little remote and you have a computer hooked up to your TV for a media center, and this was $20. I mean, this was not too bad. It was, for $20, it's pretty good. Oh yeah, about the dongle, one thing I want to mention about the dongle, I don't believe it is Bluetooth. It just is a proprietary dongle, so do not lose the dongle. If you use the dongle, or whatever you want to call that thing, you plug into the USB. I don't know if you'll be able to get this working again. Probably be cheaper just to buy another one for $20 than to get another dongle. I don't know. So it's something you might want to hold on to. It has a volume control here. It has the keys up and down, an OK button. It has a mouse right left click there. It has a mouse right left click there. It has function keys. One thing, because I use it a lot, is I use F11 a lot. I like to full screen my browser. Is it F11? Yes, F11. So I have to kind of, you know, squeeze my... It's not the most comfortable to use that function. I wish there was an F11. It just stops at about F10 right there. But my function keys, the one I probably use the most is F11. I just full screen my browser and I just browse the internet. So this should work on all platforms. It'll work on Windows, Apple OS, and Linux and Android. So it works on most of the whatever you got. Don't think it'll work on a Commodore 64, but I know there's people out on the internet who probably could get this to work on a Commodore 64 or an Amiga. But there, we're going way back into the 80s and 90s, and we're not doing that in this video. We're in the internet age. So, woohoo! Here's a shot of the box. Mini keyboard. And as I said, I needed to find another USB keyboard, something that I could just set on top of this. But this is a little bit too small, and the other one I had was a little bit too big. This one's still a little too small. The keys are very small, like you're just going to be texting with your thumbs, kind of like a Blackberry. Okay,